it goes. Hi, Angie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Do you have any new items that you'd like to talk about this week?
Um,
As this will be one of our sessions.
yes. I've been really struggling with procrastinating with my schoolwork lately. I find that I have intentions of getting it done early, and then next thing I know, it's the day it's all due, and I have it all piled up, and then sometimes I end up handing things in late because I procrastinated too much, and it stresses me out.
So, have you identified what causes you to procrastinate on your assignments?
I think that yes, basically I think what happens, and that's part of what makes it really annoying, is because it's like I know what the problem is, but I just can't stop. Well, it's a combination of um me, well, for obviously just not wanting to at the time, and there's always excuses like, oh, I'll do it, I got to do this, I got to do that, so I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, blah blah blah. A lot of times if I'm reading, I'll fall asleep, you know, while I'm reading.
Well,
um,
I'm wondering if maybe for that particular thing, I've heard that if you can read maybe in the morning or at lunchtime when you're more awake. I'm wondering if you've tried that. Have you tried any tactics to keep yourself awake?
I tried, like, I have noticed that if I read after my kids go to bed, um, I like almost instantly fall asleep. I don't know. So I've found that I need to do it like midday around nap time, kind of, but that's hard too because nap time, it's like nap time and after bed, pretty much those times where my kids are sleeping or not around, that's my time to do everything else also. So it's like, so it's either a mixture between, like, that's just another excuse because I obviously don't want to do homework now that I have my free time. But then also when I do it, if I do it at night, I fall asleep. I have noticed, I am more a little bit aware if I do it more earlier in the day, but I think I, and this is another thing I keep saying, like, I need to I need to do this. It's like I know what I need to do, but I just like don't do it. Like I know that, I sit on the couch and read, and I think that I'll be able to not fall asleep because I feel awake. And then as soon as I start to fall asleep, then I get almost into like this mindset where it's like, I need to read, I can't fall asleep, but I like can't. I just like, I'm like, I don't care. And then I go to sleep. So I guess I just need to have a little more self control and force myself to like sit in a chair somewhere.
Amen.
I
I can
guess.
I can totally relate on that level with a super busy life and lots going on. It's also good to try. Can you tell me some of the motivators for you doing the assignments? What are you intending to gain from the assignments that you procrastinate on? What's the payoff?
Well, obviously, getting it done and getting a good grade on it. I do actually, which, like, the reading, like it's especially specifically for I'm taking, social work practice with individuals and families. Like I actually am really interested. It's good, some classes have, the reading is kind of tedious and it's not the most exciting stuff, but like this is actually, certain classes like the one I just mentioned, that reading is enjoyable. It's just, I guess I'm just so exhausted. I mean, I guess I could maybe try focusing on going to bed earlier, so that too, that might help me to not be so exhausted all the time.
Well, sometimes if we can remember our motivating factor, the thing that caused us to start taking the assignments, for instance, when I sign up for, because I want to help people and I want to get a better degree so I can have a better job and those kinds of things. And so I've found that sometimes it helps me to, because I understand procrastinating. It helps me to remember my why so that it doesn't seem so tedious. Because you appear to be a very loving and present and active mama that really enjoys spending time with her babies. And so that definitely makes it hard to multitask when the babies are present. And that's an amazing ability. And so it would give you more freedom in your time with them, I think, if you can identify those motivators and some tips for yourself. Good times to do the assignments and good times for being able to focus on those assignments.
That's true. That's a good point.
I think going to bed earlier is definitely a great idea. Do your kids go to bed pretty regularly at the same time?
Yeah, I usually put them to bed between 7:30 and 8. But then, what keeps me up is a lot of times my schoolwork. I have to, I guess what it comes down to is I think I have a really hard time with time management. So it's like think I'm planning it all out, and I'm like, well, I'll have this day to do this, this, and this, or I'll think that I can get, like, I'll leave certain stuff on purpose. I'll be like, well, I still have Sunday and Monday, so I can do all that. And then next thing you know, it ends up taking a lot more time. I do have time management problems. Like, I'm late to everything. And I always think, 5 minutes to me is like 15 minutes to the rest of the world. So, or is that the opposite? The point is that I'm always like, oh yeah, it takes me like 2 minutes to get ready, but it's actually like 30 minutes. So I think I have time for things and I don't. But that is a good point about the motivator, actually, because I think a lot of times I need to focus more on that, because I get with the classes, the 8-week classes, one after the next, over and over, 2 at a time or whatever, I just kind of get into like this mindset of, I got to do this one. I mean, obviously I focus on, it's not like I ignore what I'm learning, but, I see it as just another class, and I forget about why I'm taking all of these classes, and, that's one of the reasons why I do want to stop the procrastinating, is because I think if I managed, my schoolwork and stuff better, I feel like I could retain the information and, really soak in more if I wasn't rushing it all last minute. I was just saying to my husband the other day, I feel like I said to him, I feel like if I did like put 100% and like did all my stuff on like a good time schedule, I feel like I could be like, I know for a fact all my grades would be so much better. It's not like I do terrible in school, but it's like I know that I have more potential, but it's like I'm selling myself short for just what's, and I think that goes back to just how me as a person, how I've always been, how I was raised. It's always, I'm one of those people that's very opposite. Like I'm not type A personality. Things, I'm very laid back and casual. I'm all about in the moment, go with the flow, live life in that moment. There's this life experience happening. So, am I going to waste this moment in life with my kids is also like, this time to do my homework, and then I think I use that stuff to like justify it when.
Oh my God. Yeah,
well, and there are some times that, because I think that's an amazing quality. Sorry, one of my ladies singing.
Okay.
Sorry about that. There is a great quality in people. I too have a very creative and type of spirit. It causes me to fly by the seat of my pants sometimes. And so I think that for people that have that same thing that we have, there are some great creative abilities. Typically, we love people well because we're able to be in the moment. Quality time's a huge deal. So for you, I'm sure that there are so many great qualities that are attached to that about you. That I had a pastor tell me one time, you can't make a foot a hand and you can't make a hand a foot. That people in areas, and that's okay, and they're not in certain areas, and that's okay. We just have to work a little harder with time management and scheduling. And I have began very recently putting calendars everywhere. Because if I don't do that, I find that I don't stay as organized. So what types of things do you think you could do to improve your time management?
Well, I have a calendar and a day planner, but I guess I could put my day planner on my counter and leave it there so I actually look at it. One thing that I kind of been meaning to do, but I could make it a point to do is my husband does it. He does school as well, and he sets reminders for certain days in his phone. Well, actually, apparently some sort of app or thing through his school does it for him, just like sends it directly to his calendar. Yeah. But I could, yeah, but which I'm sure, I mean, ours probably does too, my school, but I just haven't. But I could, the point is that maybe I could kind of integrate that by, like setting goals, like setting a reminder, like, on Tuesday, have this done. On Thursday, to try to like force myself and remind myself to break it up. And maybe, because I have found that if I set goals like that, that does seem to help a little bit, because it's like, and it makes it, because, another big thing of procrastinating, especially for me, but I know it's like a common thing for procrastinators, is it all seems like so much. So that's part of why we put it off, because we don't want to get into it. So maybe also by breaking it up that way might make it seem like, oh, like all I have to do is just have this chapter read, or even do this half a chapter, even just read, 3 or 4 pages this day, that day, you know what I mean? So I guess I could do that in my phone on my reminders.
Those sound like great ideas. They sound like they might. Do you have any, you mentioned possibly being able to find out through school if they have an app that might be a good resource to call, student aid or your advisor. I couldn't think of what the title of that is. And they may be able to hook you up with an app. And if the school doesn't have one, they may be able to direct you to one on Google Play or the App Store, depending on which device you have, so that you can do one of those. That sounds like a great idea. It sounds like it seems like that would be a good resource. Also, in some of the schools, and I've never taken one, but I probably should. They have time management classes, and they're typically very short, and you can access them pretty easily. And YouTube may have some time management. Like, we're talking about time management, and it takes extra time to watch those.
Yeah.
So they have some neat videos, I'm sure, too, because you can research almost everything else on there. I'm sure there's probably some. Do you have any other things that you'd like to talk about before we begin to close out our sessions, since this will be our last session together?
I think that's it. I feel excited. I think when I go home, when our meeting's done, I think I'm gonna go and set up some reminders and kind of do that, because while I have the motivation right now, so, but
good idea.
But I feel a little better now that I was kind of feeling stressed out about it, but I kind of feel good. And, like I have goals now, so it makes me feel better. So I'm okay.
Well, thank you so much for showing up and being so free to share with me. I really enjoyed our times together, and I pray that things will go very well for you in your future.
Thank you.
Thank you.